So you will have heard the story by now, pretty big in the news in the last couple of weeks. 38 people stuck in the snow in central Otago from a four-wheel drive club. The reason it's back in the news is the police released the numbers, the costings for rescuing these 38 people. Originally it was said to be close to $60,000. Just yesterday, I think TVNZ said there was a flight included as well, which put it up closer towards $70,000. And I guess the question is, are we all happy with our taxpayer money being spent on people making stupid mistakes, Lisa?
Well, I don't want to come all woman driver with you here, but I've done a 360 on the ice before. I got stuck in the snow once. Unlike these people, I called my stepfather instead of the police, but
Right.
I would still like someone to come and get me, and I think it's a bargain. It's like about $5,000 a vehicle, and those four-wheel drives are about 50k each. So
Yeah, but if I was to lose my vehicle in the water, let's say, crash it, then that $5,000 would be reimbursed by an insurance company. It wouldn't be paid for by the taxpayers.
The question is, that is a good question. Where is the money coming from? Is there a pool for that? If you do get yourself into bother, whose responsibility are you?
I think it's a really fair question to ask about how we fund these things. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, let's let them freeze to death. It's their own bloody fault. But we are a country where people get out into the bush, they do things, they get stuck, they need rescuing. This is not an isolated incident. I don't want to point the bone at these people, but I would like to talk about other issues where people have to get rescued. A classic example of recent times, commonly you hear about cavers, the people who go swimming in the caves.
Spelunkers.
Spelunkers. The official word is spelunkers. And that sometimes costs tens of thousands for one person.
Yeah.
And an idea that's been put out when that happens is maybe if you're doing these kinds of exercises, these kinds of activities, maybe there should be a fund that you can contribute to. So I buy a license to go spelunking. Everyone does that, and there's a pool of money to help all the spelunkers when they get in trouble. Or are we just happy it's part of the tax, we all cover it, so then when we get stuck, fair enough?
I say fair enough. I mean, there is already a pool of money for saving you when you get in bother, and it's called my taxes.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with it.
We then look to ACC though, because there is actually another way we pay for things like ACC. So there's often a commentary that says, well, you know, rugby players get injured on the field, they shouldn't get ACC. If you're a part of a club, the club actually does pay levies that go to ACC. Someone who then goes and goes spelunking or goes forward driving into the bush, although I guess you could argue there's ACC within their fuel and that kind of stuff, but is it the same? Is it just one pool of money? Are we comfortable with this going on?
We could have a sliding scale depending on how dangerous your profession was. The worst thing that can happen to me is I could close my hand in the car door and that would write me off. I wouldn't be able to do any work for a week. So maybe spelunkers pay slightly higher levies than writers do.
Well, motorcyclists pay higher ACCs than car drivers. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the levy that you pay, be it through your taxes or not, increases based on the activities you do outside your normal work day.
Chance for risk. Good idea.